Welcome back to another episode of The Daily Show. Here we are talking once again about LinkedIn, social media, business, selling, and everything in between. Thank you everyone who's liked and subscribed over the last few weeks. I really, really appreciate it. If you're watching this and haven't, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell so you get notifications. Then we'll see that you love us and we'll keep creating this wonderful content. If you're listening on a podcast, as I said, hit subscribe. It really helps us. It helps the algorithm know that you're liking it and also helps us have motivation to keep releasing this show. This week, we have the wonderful Eloise Idoine. She's got great knowledge about LinkedIn and how to, explain it in a simple way. She obviously knows a ton of technical information, but she's not one of those people who just wants to blast you with information and blow your mind. Instead, she wants to give you useful tidbits that you can actually implement and get out there. Most importantly, Eloise is talking to people about how to use LinkedIn for free, right? She's not saying that you've got to go and spend however much it costs to get sales nav day one. She's not talking about ads and paid this and Google paid and how much money you've got to throw in to have success. She's talking about what you can do for free, on your own, in your own time, while working, and see real tangible leads come in from that and actually build out a network without spending a penny. It's a really, really interesting show. I love speaking to people when they know what they're talking about, but I even more like it when I can genuinely learn really helpful information from such an expert. So here it is, kids. It's The Daily Show with the lovely Eloise Idoine. And we are live. Yes, we are live. Welcome back to another episode of The Daily Show. As always, thank you so much for joining us and thanks for sending all your messages in. I really, really appreciate it. If you can do and you have the time, if you're checking this out on YouTube, do me a favor and hit the like and subscribe. And similarly, if you found us on the podcast apps, wherever you're enjoying this lovely podcast, subscribe. Make Mason happy. Put a little win in our box. So we've got a bunch of great guests coming up this year, and it's been really, really exciting to just have such an influx of people wanting to be part of the show. I thank you all so much. Makes my life a lot easier when I'm not having to go and with my hat in hand and beg people to come on this lovely show of ours. But that's the future. And quite frankly, I ain't got time for that right now because right now, oh my, we have the wonderful Eloise Idoine joining me right now. Eloise is great because she explains LinkedIn in that way that I need, right? It's simple. It's easy to understand. She's got this massive breadth of knowledge, but she puts it nice and simply in real actionable little tidbits that you can actually put into play. I love her content. I'm a huge fan. So without further ado, and me talking for another 15 minutes, the lovely Eloise Idoine.
Hi there. Thank you for having me on the show today.
No worries. Thanks for joining us. So for the people out there who didn't really enjoy my intro and didn't tell them enough information, tell the people out there about yourself, Eloise.
Yes. Yeah. So, my name is Eloise Idoine. I'm the business owner of Rialto Training, which is a LinkedIn training, social selling company. And basically what I do is teach people everything that I know so that they can get the most out of using the free version of LinkedIn. The aim is that basically use the features and the tools that are available to you without having to pay for advertising, subscriptions, potentially automation tools, and getting the most out of it, really.
And I love that because too many people, like immediately as soon as you start to say, let's get the most out of LinkedIn, immediately there's like this price point that you have to do. You've got to get sales nav. You have to do this. You have to put the money in it. But from my head, the beauty and power of social media across the board was the fact it's free. The fact that I can post onto this platform and build my network without having to throw a bunch of shekels at someone. It's not, it's not putting a advert in Piccadilly Circus just to get your name out there. I can do that on my own and build my own community. Mm-hmm. So where did you learn about LinkedIn? Like where has this knowledge come from?
My background is working in a variety of different industries in sales and marketing roles. So I started off in charity sector. I worked for the breweries sector for a couple of years, which was great. Cool. It's like an all-day pub crawl. And then the main bulk of my experience is in SaaS, so software as a service in business development. So a lot of the time it was expected that we would use LinkedIn as a sales tool. There'd be KPIs around, generating leads through the platform. And to some extent, you'd be held accountable by the managers as to your performance on there and what results you could churn out. And what I found was that a lot of the time there was no training with LinkedIn. There was no in-house training, obviously from the managers who might have been ineffectively using it themselves. So I started I started in a new role during lockdown, and I thought, right, it's really time to start, how can I make the best of this tool as an advertising platform and start bringing customers to the business?
Sure.
And it just spiraled from there, to be honest, Jay. I was up until 1 a.m. reading blogs about algorithms and trying to really understand the platform. And what I did was put a trial group together. So I reached out to people in my network and I said, look, I want to create this training on LinkedIn. I'm going to give it to you for free. Record your data. Let's see what works. And over the course of a year, basically had this kind of trial group helping me out build the business in the background. And when I finally found right, this is the method, this is what's implemented and works, and I decided to launch the business.
So smart to use a group of people, because it's just not like, one thing that we found is within the business, I'm the person who's posting most and has the biggest kind of network because I've used LinkedIn for a decade longer than anyone else. But that's not a big enough test group. Like, what works for me may not be what works, and what doesn't work for me may actually work for other people, like really, really well. So I think really smart to have a test group so you can find some common denominators that kind of work for everybody. So first thing, someone comes to you and they've had LinkedIn for ages, like this guy, but they haven't been using it, like this guy. What's the first thing that you find people, everyone does wrong? What's the first thing you're like, well, you have to?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't even take advantage of the banner on their personal profile, and you'll often see this grey banner at the top.
Yeah,
it's the first thing that people see. Take advantage of that. Get your logo on there. Get some calls to actions, contact details. What are the core services that the business offers? Can you display that on the banner and engage people with some visuals there as well? So that's that. When I do the training, the first kind of part of the course is the profile optimization, and it's just a case of working right from the top all the way to the bottom, assessing what features to use and what will and won't work for you in your industry. And then just making use of them.
And what I do love about the profile is you can literally do exactly what you're saying there, Eloise. You just start from the top. You don't even have to do it in one day. You just start from the top, kind of get to where you are and be like, oh man, I got to write a bio now, and go off and spend your time writing it, come back and, focus on the next piece. And what I've found by doing that and kind of, I take a once through, make sure everything's updated, and I'll come back and look at each one, means I'm able to really optimize each part of the profile. Are there videos under each job you've had? Maybe those companies don't have videos, fine. But also is each job you have linked to that actual company account and not just the name you've typed in, because it doesn't make you look real. Yes, all those bits and pieces, right? And I've gone through, for instance, and linked all the accounts. Okay, great, that's done. And then gone back and been like, okay, well, on YouTube, I worked for this company 10 years ago, but there is a video now. I'll put that on there. It's some promotion for them, also gives people the idea. And more importantly, people can then look at my profile and see a bunch of content, which obviously for me is what we do and quite important.
Yeah, it's one area that I think a lot of people miss, Jay, because when you basically on your profile, you've got the experience section. And when you go to edit that, you've obviously got the ability to put a bit of a strap line about the company or the services, but you've also got the option to add media on. So whether it's, like Jay said, videos, photos, documents, anything that's relevant and engaging, that brings life to the page, it adds a bit of color, it gives more context to the job. So take advantage of that. One thing I would say, just on a strange formatting thing, is that if you are adding media, the ideal number is 5 images, for example. Once you go over that, LinkedIn actually formats it so it only reduces the visibility of the images. So my suggestion would be 5 images is the maximum, and get that on your experience section and make it look nice.
And I think what you said is so important as well, because if you guys listen to this right now and being like, well, of course Jay has video, he does video. And I'm an accountant, I'm working IT, like you were saying, you used to work in SaaS, and there aren't a lot of people who want to necessarily be on video and such. It isn't the right industry for it, but they do have a lot of information. Well, then white papers, guys, right? If you're a CTO and you don't want to have a picture of you being like, what up, YouTube? Like, I get that, that's fine. But there is media, there is stuff that is created by your company that is useful and relevant to your role. If it's white papers on text, if it's accreditations you've had, that is the stuff you can put on there. And very quickly, people can go and say, well, who is Eloise? There she is. That's where she was. Oh, look at the stuff. Right now I know about her and I haven't even had to read that much and I'm kind of there already.
Yeah. Well, I think in sales and business as a whole, one of the most important things when you're client facing is to be yourself. Ultimately, if you're not comfortable doing videos, then I wouldn't recommend doing it. It's good to push yourself out of your comfort zone, and definitely give it a go. But one thing I would say is that if every time you do it and you've had a go and you still feel really awkward in front of the camera, then there are lots of other types of content that you can create. So think outside the box. But ultimately, if you're really awkward and you're putting that video out there, then people aren't really going to connect with the real version of you. So definitely worth giving it a go. And Jay's the kind of person to speak to get more advice on that anyway. So
once you know what you're doing because you listen to Eloise. So the profile, obviously hugely important. And, once upon a time, something people pretty much used as their CV just to show work experience. And thankfully that's starting to change a little bit more as people kind of get how to use social. But once you've optimized that profile, again, something you can do completely for free, doesn't take too much time to do. You could spend an hour and a half and have it nailed. Like you could, if you really, not a fellow Ribena drinker there, are you?
I am indeed. Yeah, there you
go. There we go. Kindred spirits. And that's the other tip for LinkedIn is a large amount of sugar-free Ribena. So no, but so once you've got your profile updated, everything's working. As you're talking about using the platform for free, what's the first thing I'm going to do, right? My profile's working. It's a Monday morning. What do I do? How do I start utilizing this platform?
Well, as soon as you've got your profile optimized anyway, you get this all-star status. And by doing that, there was a LinkedIn algorithm report that came out recently that said, once you've reached this all-star status, you've filled out all the sections that need to be completed, then your engagement automatically increases through the platform as much as up to 25%. So can be huge. So definitely start with a profile optimization. That is always kind of number one. But yeah, like you said, Monday morning, a lot of people will sit there and think, oh gosh, this is a bit of a challenge or a chore. What am I going to do to create really, really easy things to start kind of sparking that that knowledge by simple things as signing up to Google alerts. So have a look at the key keywords that are associated with your business or your industry and set some Google alerts up. So basically you will get emails generated to your inbox with any updated blogs or news stories on those chosen topics. You don't have to then go searching the web to create content. It's already happening for you in the background. And it's as simple as, while you're getting ready for work, read a news story, read one of these blogs, find something that you're actually genuinely interested in. And then whether it's, sharing some statistics on a post or making a quick video and saying, hey guys, I just read this fantastic article. I really wanted to share this with you. It's about giving back, educating your network. But don't let it become something that you're having to struggle over. There are lots of different things that you could do, even if it's a personal post from you and your family at the weekend. Of course, they're quite divisive. Not everybody likes them, but it's always an option.
This isn't Facebook, Eloise.
I know.